I'm back after my extended break from cycling, which is a bit frustrating. I had some knee issues, which was not the best thing, so I had to take a few weeks off actually. It was a bit annoying, but after seeing the bike fit and the physio, who are really cool, they helped me get my knees better, so I've started racing this week. Did a crit on Tuesday, got 7th, which is pretty good considering I haven't trained in ages, and today I've got the Sandie Radford Memorial Road Race, so that's pretty cool. It is 40 miles and there's about 40 riders, so that should be pretty good. It's got 4 climbs in total, 2 of Piper's weight at the finish, which is quite a steep climb, and then another 2 which I can't remember what they're called, but they're not quite as bad. Got the bike all set up for the race. It's not British cycling, so I can have that lovely little 11 cog. Got the Chinese carbon clinches, 10 out of 10 would recommend to a friend. And the good old quiet power meter. Maybe I'll do a whole bike overview at some point. And this race, because it's not British cycling, I can actually bring a camera, so I'll get some sick footage. My legs are feeling surprisingly good considering the break. In the race on Tuesday I did some 3-minute and 5-minute personal bests, so pretty happy with that. When I was changing my training wheels to my racing wheels, I noticed something a little bit problematic. This is the free hub body, and this is what it does. They're not really meant to do that. I don't think it's a design feature. So, new bearings for that. Doggy! 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 Okay, so I've skipped the first bit of the race. It was, from the camera's point of view at least, pretty boring. So I'm just gonna start from where there was one guy off the front on his own, and I sort of joined a bit of the effort to try and bring him back for a bit. Okay, so that got brought back. There was a bit of a split in the peloton, and I saw this guy trying to move up on the outside, so I hopped on his wheel to try and get a free ride. I'm pretty sure that we got a gap to the rest of the field, so I just thought, this is nice, I'll get towed across to the break. He did the majority of the work. I think, if I remember, I just did a little bit to close the final gap because he looked like he was fading. Yeah, so then I come to and just close the last little gap. Okay, so here we just come into the really open crosswind section. I was sitting nicely tucked away in the bunch because I was looking forward to try and sprint, and there a couple of guys just went off the front, huge attack, and that just strung out the entire field. The guy in front of me, I don't think he could quite go with it, but it being a crosswind section, you know, there's always going to be some people in the gutter, so gaps opened up. Yeah, these guys tried to do some through and off to catch back up, but then I realised that there was 2 teammates in the break, so I was like, okay, I'll just sit steady on the front, not too hard, just plod along, so it looks like I'm doing work, but really I'm being a sneaky little bugger. And yeah, that just helped them to sail away. Eventually one guy did try an attack, so I thought I might as well just get on his wheel. This guy tried, I think, a little bit of an acceleration, so again, just close the gap. Didn't want to tried to let as few people get across to the break as possible, just because as a teammate in the break tries to flick his elbow, but obviously with a teammate in the break I'm not really going to do anything, I'm afraid. Sat on the front at 200 watts. So after a couple of minutes of sitting on the front, relatively easy, I think most people had accepted the break would go, but this guy tries to go and make a bit of a gap up the hill, and that was quite a big effort, going up to 900 watts there to stay on his wheel, so he must have been doing quite a big effort. And I think over the hill we did get a little bit of a gap, but obviously I'm not going to do any work on the front to bring my teammate back, because that's not what you want to do. It's not a nice thing to do, you know, it's rude. So this other guy comes up the front to try and drive the pace a bit more, and I think we had a bit of a gap, so yeah, he pulls off, flicks the elbow, and then I just sort of pulled over a bit, sat on, because I'm not doing anything. Yeah, we had a little bit of a gap for a while, and annoyingly, I probably could have ended up alright if we'd worked together. We could have bridged across maybe, but at the time I was thinking it's probably better just to try and let the brake go. Okay, so we're coming up towards the end of the race now, about just over half a lap to go. We're doing some through and off, just not really too fast, because I think at that point the brake was 100% out of sight, out of mind, completely gone. We were more just doing anything just to get the one of the chasers back, I suppose. So this guy takes a turn, and I look behind me, and there's a bit of a gap. So I come by him, and I say, okay, let's go. Let's try and, why not make a bit of a gap? And then of course my teammates behind don't have to do anything at all. I was just like, okay, might as well stick a little bit of effort in. We started doing a couple of turns of through and off with each other, trying to keep like just to the left of his wheel to get the most drafting advantage from the crosswind. Yeah, unfortunately the power data is a little bit delayed. Couldn't fix that because Garmin Verb Edit is a terrible piece of software. So I think it was at this point I'd just taken a turn, and I looked behind me, and the guy I was with just decided to let go of my wheel. I don't know, he must have thought that we were going to get caught or something. So I was like, okay, let's just stick it out for a bit. I looked behind, there was a reasonably sized gap, so I just got aero and stuck my head down, trying to keep an effort that I could sustain at least for a bit. I still didn't think I'd be able to make it to the finish, so I just sort of did an effort I thought I could sustain for a while. Maybe someone would bridge to me, who knows. Yeah, it's really easy just for your watts to get out of control on the little rises, and it's just so easy to burn yourself out just doing a little harder than you should do. So here, because I'm super cool and I'm Sagan, I did a bit of the super tuck on the top tube as aero as possible, and I'm quite sure that it would be at least as fast as pedaling threshold anyway at that point, or whatever power I was doing before. So I got a few seconds of respite before we hit the climb. And I think it was at this point I looked behind me, and the guy who dropped off on me before, I think he'd either changed his mind or maybe he hadn't dropped off gearish or something, who knows, but I think he decided to try and get back to my wheel. So just as we hit the top, I did a little surge just to try and make sure that he couldn't latch on. I think it was at this point that I decided I was just going to go all or nothing, try and make it to the finish. Smile for the camera. Okay, so I've just come onto the final climb. I'm going to give it my last bit of energy to get up the last bit. I looked behind a couple times before that, and I thought I'd had a much bigger gap than I did, and I looked behind me just there, and they were literally right at the foot of the hill, so I was just trying to make my way to the top as fast as I possibly could, put in a really hard effort to power the last bit of the climb. Bearing in mind I'm dying 1,000 deaths here, so I was pretty happy with that last effort just to get over the final bit. And I managed to come in 7th, which I was really surprised with at the time. I thought the break ahead was about 10 at the time, so I thought I was just getting minor placings, so I was really happy to get 7th. I actually ended up with a new power personal best for my 20-minute power, which I was really happy about, which put me just over 5 watts per kilo for my FDP, so pretty happy with that. And according to this random spreadsheet I found online, that means I'm a domestic pro material. So Team Sky, if you're watching, send me a contract. I will happily oblige. Yeah. Other results were one of my teammates, James, got 4th, and another Brit got 10th, so that was really good. 3 top 10s for the team, and that was awesome. I'd just say thanks to TLI and Glenn for hosting another really cool race. Really well organised, cool circuit too. Okay, so that was a pretty cool race. We worked as a team, so we did some you know, blocking so the breakaway could get away, which was really cool. So a teammate of mine got in the breakaway, which is cool. I ended up getting 7th, which I'm pretty happy with. So a 5-man breakaway got away, and then 2 others went to a bridge to them, and then about with, well, I want to say 3 or 4 miles to go, maybe a bit less, I sort of accidentally attacked off the front and got a bit of a gap thanks to my team helping out with not chasing. And yeah, so that gap grew quite big, and one guy was with me for a bit, but then he just dropped off. I think he must have thought that we were going to get caught. And then yeah, I almost got caught at the very last climb, but I just about managed to hold them off, so I'm pretty happy with 7th. The teammate in the break got 4th, and another teammate got 10th. So I think a pretty good day for the team. 3 in the top 10, definitely really cool. It was a really nice race. I think it was just a really cool race and a nice circuit too. So I look forward to doing it next year.